So this is the literal calm before the storm. I'm heading out to Dragon Con up in Atlanta for the con in general, but also specifically robot battles. And yeah, it's Thursday, the day before Dragon Con technically, though tonight there is a BattleBots viewing party, and I'm hoping I'll make it up there in time. I'm also racing out of Florida to try to avoid the tropical storm, hurricane, whatever it technically is that's coming through. So hopefully I'm going to get north of it quickly enough that I don't deal with too much severe weather on my way up there. So much for avoiding the storm. I'm about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta and I just hit full on downpour and mostly stopped traffic. Awesome.
I'm Paul Grata. I am on Witch Doctor. You don't see me very often. I'm the driver and constructor of Shaman. So I do it.
Hi, I'm Will Bales. I'm the team leader for Hypershock, the Reiki thing. Some Garmin fans. Alex, teammate too also.
Hi, I'm Mark. I am the team captain of Ice Wave. You probably didn't see us that much this year because they put us all in highlights. But last year we had a lot of episodes. So yeah, we'll be back. Don't worry.
I'm Jameson Go. I'm the team captain of the robot Sawblades, the unfortunate.
The poster child of good judging.
My teammate Lucy is also in front row here. Charles Guan, captain of Overhaul for season 2. I actually work with Jameson and Cynthia and Lucy and Hannah up front for Overhaul 1, and then we splintered, so Cynthia and I are currently co-captain for Overhaul 2.
So just got out of the BattleBots viewing party, which was awesome. Got to see the full, quarterfinals down to the finals. And I gotta say, it's really awkward being the one who wants Poison Arrow to win in a room with all 700 people from the Bombshell team in it. So I intended to shoot my recap video of Robot Battles 60 from Dragon Con 2016 a little earlier than I actually did. So unlike my last recap video, I don't have much of a robot to show you, and it doesn't actually have anything to do with this tournament. It's actually the tournament I went to a week later that caused Gorgor's head to be seen here without the rest of the robot. So this year Robot Battles put in a rule where you can only have one robot per weight class, and honestly I just didn't have a lot of time to put together multiple bots anyway, so I just went with Gorgor, my 3-pound jaw clamping robot. The event is single elimination, and Robot Battles at Dragon Con last year was my first robot event after about 8 years of not competing, and I had the second fight of the day. It didn't go well, and it pretty much had nothing to do with the rest of the event. And when they started assigning fights for round 1, I thought I was going to have a similar situation because Gorgor got paired up against Jameson Go's robot Silent Spring. And I was really excited to be able to compete against Jameson again because he used to be kind of part of that local robot fighting group here in Florida. I fought his ant weight that was pretty similar to Silent Spring a few times, I think. But knowing that I had kind of a delicate lifter jaw robot versus a really brutal spinning blade, I thought it was all over. I used the same technique I used against Trilobiter last event, where I stuck a piece of foam in Gorgor's mouth to hopefully try to slow down the blade a little bit. It didn't do much of anything, it got ripped off immediately. Silent Spring also hit the front armor panel on Gorgor and ripped it off and put a nice dent in it. And while watching the event in real time, I felt like my robot got hit, and I had at least a few seconds to reposition it while he repositioned his robot to come in for the next strike. But watching the video now, it looks like it's only about half a second tops, where Silent Spring lands and then has its blade hit the floor and is launched out of the push out of the arena, giving me a really lucky break. My second and third fights kind of felt very similar. My second fight was against a robot called Kiss Knot. It was a horizontal spinner
hanger made out of 3D printed material, but the blade wasn't working properly, so it really just became a push match. I almost got him out of the push out a couple times, but he had enough traction and power to kind of redirect the robots to go somewhere else. Not a particularly exciting match. And it also proved that Gorgor's jaws, being as short as they are, really can't do much in the lifting department against a robot of that design with very large wheels. Third fight was against a robot called Doomba, which was literally a Roomba with a kind of trough cut in the middle of it and a ducted fan on top to add extra boost power when it went forward. I was kind of skeptical about how well that would work, but in a head-to-head pushing match, he really did have a ton of power and was able to push me backwards. Fortunately for me, the design of the robot was pretty much perfectly shaped to go over the top of Gorgor. When the fan kicked on, it would rear up in the front and that trough would raise up high, and it kind of just ended up getting high-centered over top of Gorgor for most of the match. There's no unsticks if robots are stuck together at robot battles, so it was really just me kind of dragging him around, and he would kick the fan on and push me as much as he could with that, which is kind of an interesting concept. You're able to move without actually having traction. Once again, a very large, awkward design that was, I believe he actually did have pretty large wheels underneath, making it pretty hard for me to get a good lift in on him, and definitely unable to clamp and lift with the jaws, which I've yet to really be able to get Gorgor to ever do. I think I need to upgrade the motors substantially to be able to get that happening. My third fight, which was the semi-finals of the event, was against Noodles from Dale's Homemade Robots, which Dale is a legend in robot combat. His machines are always beautifully made, and I don't think he puts many off-the-shelf parts in anything he builds. And this thing was a pushbot with custom-made brushless gearboxes and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he really just slammed Gorgor around the arena pretty badly for the whole fight. I did find out that I was able to get under him. My lower jaws were sharper than the bottom of his plow, but the Robot Battles arena has a lot of gashes in the floor, so if my jaws were riding on the floor, it was really easy for me to get stuck and get high centered, or if I was going quick, I could even pop myself up in the air with those jaws getting cut and the back end kind of still trying to move forward once that front end stopped moving. I am kind of happy that the fight, at least I feel like I put up a little bit of a fight. I definitely don't think I deserved to win the fight at all, but at least I don't feel like I was completely outclassed the entire match. I did get a couple good lifts in on him. I was able to kind of push him around a couple times, but that robot just had so much power, it really beat the crap out of me. And he actually went on to win the whole event, or one more round after that. So if anything, I could say I lost to the guy who won. So that's a pretty short recap for this event. There's really not a whole lot to tell. It was basically bookended by two exciting fights where I didn't do very well, and then the two fights I felt like I won by actually winning were a little bit on the boring side. But it was still nice to see Gorgor do something, to perform a little better than he had at previous events, win a couple fights, and to come out pretty much ready to go into its next event, Stuart's Small Bots of Mass Destruction 2 or 3, depending on how you're counting, which we'll get into in the next video.